So you currently own a property, potentially a couple properties, and you're thinking of starting a home improvement project. Potentially you're looking to fund your next business opportunity. You might just be looking to build out an emergency fund or pay off some high credit card debt. You might be looking to find where that down payment will be coming from for your next home purchase. In this video, we're going to go through a few different mortgage options that would allow you to access the current equity in your property. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Connor Webb. I am a mortgage loan advisor, a mortgage broker, and it is my role to help guide my clients into whichever mortgage product and whichever mortgage lender is going to best suit their needs. If you'd like to reach out, my contact information will be in the description of this video. And also please note that qualifying will vary depending on your situation. So again, reach out, let's have a conversation and see which program is going to be best for your needs. And with that, let's get into the video. Here are the different mortgage options we'll talk about today. We'll start with a cash out refinance. We'll then get into a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. We'll then talk about a bridge loan, which would help bridge the gap on your next purchase. So first off, how do you calculate how much equity you have in your property? It's pretty simple. You just take your current home value, you subtract out any liens on the property or any mortgage balances, and that equals your current equity. So for example, if you had a home value of $500,000, you had a current mortgage of $250,000, you subtract out $250 from $500, your current equity in the property would be $250,000. So what is a cash out refinance? A cash out refinance is where you pay off your existing mortgage and you create new permanent financing. The loan amount on a cash out refinance is going to be larger than your previous mortgage, and the difference between the new loan amount and your current loan amount is going to be paid out to you in a lump sum payment. Here are the general Fannie Mae or conventional guidelines for a cash out refinance. Depending on the loan program, like a VA loan, you might be able to go even higher than this, but with a standard conventional loan, for a primary, second home, and investment property, this is what you're looking at. With a primary residence, you can typically go up to 80% of the value of the property as your new total loan amount. With a second home and an investment property, it's going to be more restrictive. Typically, you can go up to 75% of the total value of the property as your new total loan amount. A scenario of a cash out refinance on a primary residence, let's say the value of your property is at $750,000. You have a current loan balance of $400,000. You also have a $25,000 current credit card balance that you're looking to pay off throughout the process. 80% of the $750,000 value is $600,000, which is what we can go up to for the new potential loan amount. So whereas before you had a $400,000 loan balance, the new potential loan would be $600,000, and the difference between the new loan balance and your current loan balance is $200,000. Subtract out closing costs and prepaids, etc. Then with the excess, you could pay off that $25,000 credit card. You can use the excess for home renovations or whatever your potential needs are. Some of the best uses for cash out refinances would be consolidating debts such as high interest credit cards. You could potentially be doing a home renovation, investment opportunity, building out an emergency fund, etc. I'll go through it in a bit, but one of the big factors is considering where your current mortgage interest rate is at and where that new interest rate would be at on the new mortgage. And on top of the interest rate itself, what is the overall payment difference going to be? And does that payment difference make sense for the amount of cash that you're going to be getting out? So that covers the overview of a cash out refinance. Next up, what is a HELOC? A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Essentially, it's a credit card that is tied to your property. It's common to have a variable interest rate as well as a draw period, which would be followed by a fixed rate and a repayment period. With a HELOC, you would be approved up to a certain credit line, depending on the value of your property, and instead of receiving that entire amount as a lump sum upfront, like with a cash out refinance, you would have the ability to tap into that line of credit as often as you want to and as much as you'd like. For example, with my personal HELOC, they gave me a checkbook, and essentially anytime that I write a check out of that checkbook, it would just be withdrawing from that line of credit. Typically with a HELOC during that draw period, you're making interest-only payments on whatever the outstanding balance is of the line of credit. You're not paying on the entire line amount, you're paying on only the amount that you have taken out so far. You have the ability to pay off the amount at any time that you'd like, but if you're just making the minimum payments, then it's just going to be the interest-only payments. Once that draw period is over, then whatever the current outstanding balance of your line of credit is would be locked off, and then there would be a fixed rate applied to that amount remaining, and then there would be a repayment period to where when you make those consistent payments after a certain amount of time, you would pay off that entire balance. So here's a scenario for a HELOC. Let's say that same property valued at $750,000. You currently have a loan balance of $400,000. With a HELOC, typically you can go up to a bit higher than what you can with a cash out refinance. So with the HELOC, you can go up to a max loan to value of 89.99% in this scenario, which of $750,000 would be $674,925. What this means in this scenario is that first mortgage of $400,000 would remain, and then that HELOC, which is technically a second lien, would have a limit up to $274,925. Again, you would be making interest-only payments on the outstanding balance for whatever the draw period is, but in this proposed scenario, it would be 3 to 5 years, and then you would have fixed payments after that. The minimum draw amount that you have to take out up front, the total terms of the loan, etc., completely depend on the lender that is providing the HELOC and which loan program you're going with. Some of the best uses for a home equity line of credit would again be home renovations, emergency fund, education costs, whatever you really need it for. So what are the biggest differences between a cash out refinance versus a home equity line of credit? With a cash out refinance, it would replace your current mortgage. Versus with a HELOC, it would not replace your current mortgage, but rather it would be added on top as a second lien. A cash out refinance would have a fixed loan amount and fixed payments over the life of the loan. Versus with a HELOC, it would have variable interest rates during the draw period and variable payments depending on whatever that current loan balance is. And then with a cash out refinance, you would receive a one-time lump sum. It's a one-time thing. If you wanted to pull more equity out, then you would have to complete a cash out refinance again, which incurs various fees, etc. Versus with a HELOC, you can tap into that line of credit whenever you want to during that draw period. You just pay back the balance, and then you would have that entire amount freed back up to pull from again whenever you decide to. So these two scenarios are for if you're going to be keeping the property and if you would like to access the current equity that is available. The next scenario is a bridge loan. A bridge loan is for when you're looking to purchase a new property and use some of your current equity in order to help that purchase. A bridge loan is a short-term, secured loan to bridge the gap between your current residence and your new property. The bridge loan itself typically covers the down payment, it can cover closing costs, and any other fees throughout the process. Lenders often require 20% or more of equity in your current residence in order to use this bridge loan type of product. This bridge loan scenario I'm going to go through is a specific loan product that I've used with multiple clients in the past. It works great for people that have a lot of equity in their current residence and are looking to minimize their out-of-pocket in order to purchase another property. So for example, let's say your current home is valued at $750,000. The new residence that you're looking to purchase is valued at $600,000. The current mortgage of your residence has a remaining balance of $250,000. So you have $500,000 of equity in your property. $1.35 million is the total value of your current residence as well as the new residence that you're looking to purchase. With this specific bridge loan product, you take the value of both properties, you multiply that by 0.75, which in this case is $1.012 million. You subtract out your current loan balance of $250,000, and that gets you a $762,500 max initial loan amount on the new property. And since that max initial loan amount is higher than the total sales price of the new property and higher than all of the closing costs and fees associated with that purchase, this client in this scenario will walk into that new property with $0 out of pocket in order to buy this new home. A couple things to note in this scenario is that since they are purchasing a new property before they're selling their current residence, they would have to remain continuing to pay their current mortgage on top of the new mortgage that would be incurred. With this loan product specifically, there's no time frame in which they have to sell their current residence, so they have the ability to take their time to move out of that property, move into the new property, and they aren't going to be rushed with having to move out. Then once they sell that former residence, they will apply a certain predetermined amount to that new loan amount, which would then re-amortize and turn into the new permanent financing. So whatever the starting mortgage was on that house that they just purchased, that amount will be reduced by whatever amount they apply towards that balance after they sell their current residence. And then that will be re-amortized and turned into a new 30-year payment, which they will pay over the long term. The scenario is a bit complex, but it can be a great option for people. Some of the best uses of a bridge loan is that it allows you to make a non-contingent offer on your next property. A contingent offer is when you offer to purchase a property, but it's reliant on your current residence to sell before you can close on that next purchase. For example, if you have a certain amount of equity locked up in your current home and you need to access that, so you have to sell your current residence and then you use those funds as the down payment and closing costs for your next purchase, that would be a contingent sale. Using a bridge loan makes it so that it's non-contingent. You don't have to sell your current residence before you can qualify to purchase this new property. A bridge loan can also help you avoid the hassle or the cost of in-between housing. If you sell your current residence before you end up closing on your new home or whatever the time frame is, you won't have to live in a hotel or put your stuff in storage until your new home is ready to go. So we went through a cash out refinance, a home equity line of credit, as well as a bridge loan and some scenarios with all of these. I hope that answered some questions about how you can access your current home equity. And again, if you have any questions, my contact information will be in the description of this video. Let me know in the comments below if there's any certain topics that you'd like me to cover in my next video. Otherwise, go check out this video right here.